will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mess me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford, shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 'cause you got me holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding.
Cause when you're with me, baby, don't you see I'm shining? Cause when you're with me, baby, don't you see I'm shining? Cause when you're with me, baby, don't you see I'm shining? Cause when you're with me, baby, don't you see I'm shining? Cause when you're with me, baby, don't you see I'm shining? Cause when you're with me, baby, don't you see I'm shining? Cause when you're with me, baby, don't you see I'm shining? Cause when you're with me, baby, don't you see I'm shining?
far away. I want you back. I want.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What's up? What's going on? And happy Thursday. We call it here inside of chat Money Thursday. Every day is full of profits and full of money. What's up, traders? What's up, Alpha Nation? ADT family, how are y'all doing today? Good morning. Welcome back. Once again, happy Money Thursday. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Hope you guys are all set, ready to rock and roll to take advantage of this market. So much opportunity, so much potential, guys. And I want to make sure that each and every one of you are locking in amazing profits here inside of chat. And yesterday was a fantastic day. We saw traders locking in big time profits on the SPY, on the Qs, NVIDIA, Tesla, not Josh, small caps on fire. Meme stock rally has not died off yet. So right now, team, there's a lot of opportunity in this market. Make sure you're coming in, doing that due diligence, taking the time to get prepared. So all you have to do is react when these opportunities present themselves, right, team? My job is to come in the mornings to get you guys prepared for the day, to make sure you know where the best of the best opportunity is, let you guys know where my focus is and why. What am I looking at? What stocks do I think have the best potential? Where am I looking to put my money? Where am I looking to make some big time profits? Let's go ahead and talk about the top stocks of the day to get you guys prepared. And like every single morning, everybody should be inside the chat looking at our morning stock newsletter. I put this together every single morning starting at 7 a.m. I revise it throughout the morning and officially publish this right around 8:45. But the first one usually goes live around 7:30. You get an 8 o'clock update, an 8:30 update, and the official one is published right at 8:45. And again, taking the time to get you guys prepared for today's trading session. What were yesterday's top gainers and what are stocks that can move again today, right? We're seeing a lot of stocks ripping and running. Why? They're heavily shorted. So what are the most shorted stocks in the market right now? Again, our market overview, stocks with news that could rip today. And then personally, my top stocks of the day with a fantastic breakdown as far as what I'm looking at, what levels I want to get involved with, where I'm looking to stop out, where I'm looking to take profits, where I think the best potential could be in today's market. So definitely take time review my top stocks of the day. Sometimes we get back burner sleeper plays in there, and we all know we got a great win rate with those back burner sleepers. Check out those pre-market gappers, Reddit and Twitter top mentions, the market overview, largest short interest. Again, we're seeing stocks rip and run due to short squeezes. So let's go see if there's another stock that could start to squeeze. Which ones are extremely shorted? Check that out. What's going on in the economy? What could drive the market? How could the SPY and the Qs move based on economic data? Again, those prior day top gainers. And then most importantly, our earnings. So always come inside the morning stock newsletter, check this out, and get prepared for the day. But I take all of this for you guys, and I simplify it, I dissect it, I eliminate the noise, and I really break it down thoroughly in the morning. So again, there's a lot of stocks on here that you may not hear us talking about today, or tomorrow, or next week. But these stocks do have potential. Maybe you come in and you say you like WOLF, right? Maybe you like it off its Q4 earnings. Maybe you see something that works good for your strategy. Definitely take the time to come in here to get prepared. But out of all of these stocks with news, okay, I have already built our watch list for the day on where I think the best opportunity is. Okay, so number one, we do want to be watching PSTV today. And the reason we want to be watching PSTV is they had a really good press release. They had cancer-related news. They received a $17 million grant from Texas to fund their cancer-related projects. So right now with PSTV, we definitely want to keep that on watch. Anytime we see a company receiving a large sum of money, $17 million grant from Texas, and anything cancer-related, we could see those stocks absolutely rip and run. So right now, we definitely want to be watching PSTV today to see if the stock has any potential behind it. And there's definitely some potential here, guys. All right. So what do we have today with PSTV? Well, number one, we are trading above that 113 support level. So if you go take a look at the daily chart, there was a little bit of support, tons of resistance at 113. And it's no wonder that we saw support in post-market. We had 113 resistance in pre-market. Then we broke above and held it and just ripped a little bit higher into around 129. So I really want to keep PSTV on watch today above that 112 to 113 and see if we can hold on up. And if we can hold that level on up and see buyers return, guys, we have some great potential to the upside. Where could we see PSTV go? Well, the first area would be back up to those post-market highs. I'm going to say right around 157. So from 113 to 157, that's over 40 cents to the upside. We have good potential with PSTV. Now, what if we start falling below 113? Is the stock still tradable? Is it still in play, or is it dead in the water? I would say it could still be in play. And the reason for that is we have our 200 SMA right around 91 cents. And that was also our first pullback level in post-market last night. We broke on out, pulled back, held the 200 SMA, and we absolutely ripped to 164. So even if 113 can't hold up as support and we see it coming back down as low as 91 cents, it could still be in play as we may see buyers move on in off the 200 SMA support and push the stock back on up. So let's definitely keep PSTV on watch today, ideally above 113, and we could see the stock moving back up towards around 157. If we do crack 113, you could have $1 support. We could see that hold at the lowest 91 cents. That's the 200 SMA. Anything below 91 cents, I would call it dead in the water. We would shift our focus and attention elsewhere and see where the next best opportunity is. But right now, PSTV is meeting that criteria to be a nice watch list worthy stock. It's up over 100%, 22 million in float, trading really nice volume, really nice press release. It's moving here in pre-market. It's consistent. It's relatively predictable. It has potential. Let's definitely keep this one on high watch above this 113, guys. All right. Number two, we want to be watching CRIS today. Why do we want to be watching CRIS today? Well, CRIS has a pretty good press release. The FDA is lifting their clinical hold on their lymphoma study here on CRIS. And I like CRIS because we have a great gap fill opportunity. And that was posted up here in the morning stock newsletter, right? We were talking about this one this morning. This is the alert from chat that I put in the morning stock newsletter, and then I published it. We just broke that 132 resistance and can now see it hold as support. If we do hold that 132 as support, we have room to 169 and then potentially 228 to fill the daily gap. The only thing is it's 87 million in float. That's the only thing I don't like, but it's not crazy large like BBIG at 200 million in float or 300 million in float. It's definitely low enough to see this stock move. And here on CRIS, just like that, it did exactly what we thought, right? We broke over that 132. We actually cracked below it, broke back above it, regained it, pulled back. Nice downtrend. That was the trade I took for a quick scalp into the 150s. The stock then pulls back, continues to build higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, finally breaks 150, pulls back, and then rips right up to our 169 target. So at this point in time, CRIS looks the best. We got a great press release. CRIS trading fantastic volume. Now, yes, it's a larger float, but it's not too large to where I'm concerned that it's not going to move today. You look at something like BBIG, it's 220 million in float. It's going to take a lot to get that thing going. Take a look at MNMD. It's 350 million in float. It's going to take a lot to get that thing going. Not so bad with CRIS. And so far, this stock is absolutely amazing. Doing exactly what we thought. Breaking back above that 132. It held as support. It broke on out. It eventually hit our 169 target. And right now, exceeding that level, hitting highs of 180. This stock is on high watch, guys, above 169. High watch above 169. We have great potential to fill that daily gap up towards around 228. So here's my plan with CRIS. The plan I have typed up right now at this point in time, and I'm going to have this order in the system ready to go. I want to try and be a buyer around 150 if possible. I highly doubt 150 comes down and it gets hit. But if we ever do come down the 150, I think that's a good area to be a buyer at, to see buyers move in, push it back above 169 resistance, and then start to fill that gap. But again, we could open on up at $2. We may not even come back down the 150, but if we can come back down a little bit more, close to 150, I would like to be a buyer somewhere around there. That was the plan that I had typed up about 20 minutes ago, right? May not happen. I may have to readjust that plan slightly. depending on how we open on up and how we move the first, say, 5 minutes of the day. But again, I definitely want to keep CRIS on high watch. This stock has tons of potential to fill that daily gap. Good news, good volume. Right now, it's the best looking stock here in pre-market. So I want all eyes peeled here on CRIS today, guys. Out of the gate, the number one stock is CRIS for at least the first 10 to 15 minutes. There's going to be some opportunities. Washout longs, panic pops. It's easy to short. We can go long on it. It looks fantastic, guys. We want to keep this as our number one stock for today, right? CRIS. Number two, or number three, right? Number three, we got FRZA, right? So FRZA, same thing, dropping a press release today. Then on top of that, it is also a prior IPO. It actually IPO'd on Friday. Now, it didn't do anything Friday, got absolutely slammed to the downside, but we have some news. It's a newer IPO stock, and traders do like these newer IPO plays, guys. All right, so FRZA announces a strategic partnership with One Water Marine to develop electric boats. So FRZA was last Friday's IPO that got absolutely destroyed, and it tanked. Has not done too much since. However, if we can start to see the stock breaking the 825 and 844 level, we definitely have some potential to see some action today. Our next level of resistance here on FRZA is going to be $10 and then $10.60. But again, first, we need to be breaking 825 and we need to be breaking 844. All right. So if we can ever see the stock breaking Tuesday's Tuesday's close and Tuesday's open, that's our 825 to 844. If we can ever break those levels, look at your daily chart. Where's the next place that you could see the stock go? Well, the spiking high, the high a day from Tuesday at 1060. Now, yes, you're going to have resistance along the way, right? Psychological resistance, such as 875, $9, and $10. But if we can break those psychological levels with ease, we could absolutely see $10.60. Now, do I think this is the number one stock out of the gate? Excuse me, guys. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, right? CRIS looks fantastic. PSTV looks fantastic. But we all know what this type of stock could do. It's a new IPO stock. We have seen big time supernovas with new IPOs. The stock is technically gapping up. FRZA has a press release. So I do want to keep this one on watch because we could start to see it breaking those levels and really start to heat on up, starting to push up towards around those psychological levels, and then possibly 1060 today here with FRZA. So I'm not crazy about it right now. I definitely don't think it's a top stock like right out of the gate. We know our top stocks out of the gate. That's going to be CRIS all day. PSTV number 2. But we do want to be watching FRZA as well to see if we ever get those breaks on up over those levels, because that's when we could really start to see this thing take on off. And the reason we're discussing this is I want you guys to get prepared. If we do break those levels, how many shares do you want to buy? Where do you want to be buyer at? You want to be buying at 850? Okay. How many shares? Based on those shares, what could you afford as far as a stop loss? You get to risk 50 cents or you get to risk $1? And then what's your target? You plan on holding this all the way to 1060. Start to get prepared. Build that plan in your head so if we start to see a move, you don't have to scramble and juggle and try and build the plan and miss the opportunity. You guys already have those plans built. All you have to do is react if we see an opportunity. So definitely keep FRZA on watch. I'm personally not going to be looking to touch this unless it's breaking the 825, 844 level, because to me that shows strength. That's when I think we could really start to see this thing open on up towards around 1060 over on FRZA. Right now we have some back burners. Okay, now these back burners are prior day movers, meme stocks, hype stocks, short squeeze stocks. These stocks have attention. Traders are talking about these stocks. And as long as traders are talking about these stocks, traders are looking at these stocks. And if we have traders looking at a stock, they're probably trying to trade the stock. And if they're trading it, they're going to move. These stocks have potential, but not the best potential out of the gate. But we do want to keep them on watch and take a moment to get you guys prepared and do some due diligence. So FUBO, short squeeze stock, okay, has a lot of hype. And we possibly have a mid candle breakout. So here's your plan with FUBO. If you hold above 535, you want to think about going long with stops under $5. Okay, build a plan to risk 35 to 40 cents. Possible mid-candle breakout, short squeeze stock, hype stock, meme stock, whatever you want to call it. It has attention, it has focus. You got traders talking about it. It was a big-time mover on Tuesday. The stock went from $4 to $8, almost 100% on the day. Not a lot yesterday, but setting up for a possible mid-candle breakout. Where are we trading above? Yesterday's close at 535. So as long as we hold above 535, we have room to 635, which was going to be Tuesday's close. So if you bought right now, I'm not saying buy it now, I'm saying build a plan, and if you like it, take it. But if we hold above 535, we know we have potential to 635. That's $1 to the upside, and you could put stops under $5 support. You got a nice little 2-to-1 setup to start your day. If we ever break above that 635, we have room to yesterday's open of 683. If we ever see the stock breaking 683, we could see it take on off to $8, which was Tuesday's spiking high. So this is a little bit of a back burner sleeper play. FUBO has hype. FUBO is shorted. It was a big mover here on Tuesday. We got a potential mid-candle breakout. It is trading above our first level of resistance, now with support, 535. It's definitely looking good. It just doesn't have volume. But from a technical standpoint and what it's been doing so far in pre-market, it looks good. It looks decent. So if I don't get that entry with CRIS, right, I will be looking to build a plan here on FUBO for a trade. You know what? We got time. Let's do it. We have great potential. So let's go to FUBO and let's go ahead and build a plan, right? We want to go ahead and buy the stock right around 535, let's say. All right, so we're going to go in here. We're going to go limit order. Change that limit to, say, 535. Say we take 1,000 shares. I mean, me anyway. We're going to put that upper limit at $6.35. Put that lower limit right there at $4.95. Is that a good plan? Well, we're risking 7% to make 18%. On 1,000 shares, you're looking to make $1,000, but you're going to risk $400. So again, you know your plan. You know it's a good 2-to-1 setup. It's exceeding a 2-to-1 setup. So you can get away and let this thing breathe up to 50 cents, and you have at least $1 to the upside. And then you could see 683. Then you could see 722, and then possibly $8. So we should absolutely be keeping the stock on high watch right out of the gate as our number one back burner sleeper play of the day. That's going to be FUBO. So again, if you ever hear me say I'm scaling out, don't be surprised, because I'm looking to get involved with this. If I cannot get involved with CRIS back down towards around that 150 level. So I definitely want to keep FUBO on high watch. All right, you got BLUE. This stock, it was like FDA news yesterday. I have to go back and check it out. They're on BLUE. FDA approved. Yeah, they had FDA approval. This stock was halted, and then it opened on up around 230, ripped up to 818, then didn't do anything. But it's slightly gapping up today. It doesn't look the best, but we want to keep the stock on watch because 22% of the float is currently short, right? So 22% of the float currently short on BLUE. And there's still some traders here, right? It's gapping up a little bit. It's moving. It's got a little bit of volume. Not a lot, but a little bit. But the biggest reason I want to keep this one on watch is because it has over 20% of its float currently short. And that's a lot of hype that we're seeing, is a lot of these stocks with large short float percentages really ripping and running and really stealing the market attention. And these are where some of the best opportunities can be. BLUE, it's a back burner play at this point in time. If it moves and there's opportunity and it's setting up, we'll definitely take a look at it today, guys. But right now, I don't really want to put that much focus on it. CRIS looks great. FUBO looks great. PSTV looks great as well. BLUE, compared to those other three stocks, really don't look that fantastic. All right, but we should keep it on watch just in case it does set on up. All right, so we got BLUE on watch. If we ever break above 818, we have room to 875 and then 981 with bottom support here back down around $6.70. BBBY support $17. Let's keep this one on watch above $17. If we fall below $17, I would think we'd come back down towards around that 200 SMA before we see the stock bounce. But we do have okay support at 17. Let's see if it can hold on up. If we ever see BBBY breaking back above 2065 and regaining that level as support, that's where I think more buyers will start to step on in, pushing the stock towards around $22.50, and then possibly back up into some of yesterday's levels of resistance. That would put you right around 27.50 then maybe back up towards around 30 bucks. Again, right now, it is a back burner because we have better opportunity right at 930. But if those stocks die on off, there's no opportunity, we know where traders are going back to. Traders are most likely going back to one of these meme stocks, BBBY, right? Maybe back over to BLUE because it's extremely shorted. Maybe here on FUBO, it's another hype stock, extremely shorted, possible mid-candle breakout. And then you could see traders come on over to BBIG. I know a lot of you guys are looking at BBIG, but here's one thing you have to be extremely mindful of. You're sitting at a very, very strong level of resistance, 190, right? That was our target yesterday for the daily gap fill over that 158 up towards around that 190. Well, we just filled that gap here in pre-market. We could easily see the stock open right at that gap level and drop all the way back down to 158. You're at a very strong level of resistance. Don't be buying this right at 190 because the odds are it's probably going to sell on off because that was a main target for traders. You got 158 support. That puts you right around this trend line as well. So let's see if it opens on up, drops on off, comes down, 150, 158. And if we ever see it really finding support off 158 and we start to see buyers move back in, we have a good trade. We have great potential back up to 190. Now, if this stock ever breaks 190 and holds above 190 as support, well, that's a sign of strength. That's when we could see this thing move on up to 2, then up towards around 219 on BBIG. But right now at this point in time, I'm going to put it on the back burner. So these are our back burner stocks that we will watch today. They do have potential, but not right at 930, right? BBIG is a back burner trade right now at this point in time. BBBY is a back burner at this point in time. BLUE and then FUBO are going to be back burners at this point in time. But I'm going to label FUBO my #1 back burner sleeper play pick of the day for that possible mid-candle breakout above 135. The #1 stock to be watching right out of the gates is going to be CRIS. #2 out of the gates, we're going to be watching PSTV. And then #3 out of the gates for that break over 825 and 844, that's going to be FRZA, right? So those are our top stocks for today, right? We always have to say this. Depending on what the overall market does is going to dictate where a lot of these individual stocks go, right? Assuming we have volatility. Now, if we have a really slow, choppy day, it's safe to say we'll probably see slow choppiness with Amazon. We'll see slow choppiness with Apple. We'll see slow choppiness with something like NVIDIA. But if we have a lot of volatility, that's when we can see volatility with these individual stocks as well. So really depends on what the overall market today does, depending on what kind of opportunities we have with, say, Amazon and Apple. I am watching Amazon and Apple. So Amazon, why am I watching this? Well, we just had that strong rejection on Tuesday off its 200 SMA. It gapped down and then cracked that trend line that goes back towards around early of the month. And that trend line is valid because we came back up and hit that trend line as resistance. So I would like to see the overall market show some more weakness and pull back. I'm very biased about the pullback in the market because it's very overextended. It's due for a pullback, but it really depends on what the market does. So if we see the markets continue to pull on back, that's really going to help the Amazon shorts. And we want to be looking for an Amazon short below 140.82 down to 138.93. Now, why below 140.82 down to 138.93? Well, below 140.82 is a crack of yesterday's low. Okay, so we want to see a new daily low today to see more sellers move in. Why would we want to cover and take profit around 138.93? It's our daily gap level, right? You had a little bit of a gap up here and probably needs to get filled, right? So assuming the overall market shows weakness and pulls back today, we already see weakness with Amazon, the rejection off the 200 SMA, the gap down, the crack of the trend line, the retest of the trend line. So if we see the markets continue to fall and fade and show weakness, that could easily help bring Amazon down below yesterday's low of 140.82 and start to fill that daily gap down towards around 138.93. All right, so I definitely want to be watching Amazon today for that opportunity. Now, if it doesn't play out today, we'll watch it tomorrow, early next week, but it really depends on what the overall market does. And then we have Apple. Now, Apple's a tough one, guys. Like, the reason it's tough is because Apple is way too overbought, it's way too overextended, and I just feel like it's due for a pullback. And feel like I'm chasing the stock going long, but it's been consistently moving higher over the past several weeks, several months. So a couple things with Apple, right? Still really depends on what the overall market does, right? Amazon's a good short. It shows a lot of weakness. We want to be really thinking about the shorts if we see weakness in the markets. If we see weakness in the market, we do have a possible short here on Apple, and that's going to be a crack of this trend line. Now, to the short side, not tons of opportunity, right? You'd be literally looking for a crack of the trend line and a crack below yesterday's lows, some of that support, right around 173. You could see Apple come down to 172 and then 170, 172. So you're only really getting about $1 to $1.30 to the downside out of Apple. But to the upside, there's a lot more potential. So let's say the SPY and the Qs have a good green day and the markets are ripping and we ever see Apple back above 175. We have potential to 176. And if Apple ever breaks 176.15, we have a big window of opportunity to 178.34. So if the markets rebound, S&P back up towards around its 200 SMA, we see the Qs rebounding and having a nice green day as well. We could see Apple breaking some of these levels of resistance. And then that next level of resistance, that's a realistic target for Apple, would be that 178.34. So again, it really depends on what the SPY and the Qs do, on how we trade Amazon, and then how we trade Apple. But there's still a good long opportunity and a good short opportunity with Apple today. And there's definitely a good short opportunity with Amazon today, tomorrow, maybe early next week, depending on what the market does, all right? Couple things to keep in mind with the SPY and the Qs, guys, right? You got one key area to keep on watch with the SPY, and it shows weakness right now. So I'm expecting some weakness today. We have this downtrend from Tuesday that we tried to break above here in pre-market, and we couldn't. We also have this 427.26 prior resistance level, prior support, prior resistance, and it's still turning in to resistance. So I'm actually looking to short the SPY out of the gate today within the first maybe 10 to 15 minutes, assuming we stay below this downtrend and assuming we stay below 427.26. I'd be looking to short the SPY back down to 425.40, back down towards around 424.58, and then our target of 424. Now, if we see the SPY drop 3 points to the downside, Apple's going to crack this trend line and drop. Play puts. Amazon may come down and crack our 140.82. Play your puts down to 139. If you just want to play the SPY off this 427.26 resistance right along the lines of this downtrend and look to play your puts down towards around 424. Right? Same thing with the Qs. Just a little bit different price, okay? 329.09 resistance, and you have the downtrend as resistance as well. So assuming the Qs don't break 329, assuming the Qs are not able to break this downtrend, the Qs have room down to 326.28, and then we could see some room down to 325 here on the Qs. So I am leaning to the bearish side. I am more of a bear today than a bull. Especially because we're getting rejected right off two key levels of resistance, the downtrend and then that 329 level here on the Qs, and then the downtrend with the SPY and that 427.26 level. All right, so we can't break that level out of the gate and we start cracking on down, play your puts on the SPY and the Qs. You start to break the downtrend and you break resistance and it looks strong. Play your calls back up to pre-market highs and then yesterday's highs with the SPY and the Qs both. Now, if the market cracks on down, play your puts on Apple. If the market moves lower, play your puts on Amazon. If the market moves higher, play your calls on the SPY and the Qs, and then you can look for those calls here on Apple. But right now, it's definitely looking weak. I'm definitely thinking we see a little bit of a red day, a red start for a nice little drop to get involved to the short side here with the SPY, the Qs, maybe Apple and Amazon as well. All right, so definitely keep Amazon on high watch, guys. Apple on high watch, the SPY and the Qs right around those two very important key levels of resistance. And if you see what you need to see and you see what you want to see, build your plan, baby. You got a minute to go. Build that plan. What strikes do you guys want to be buying? How many do you want to be buying? Where are you going to stop out at? What's your target? All you have to do is react. I want to see you guys lock in some quick profits right out of the gates. I am personally going to be watching CRIS #1. Then off on the back burner, you got FUBO for that possible mid-candle breakout, all right? So right now we're all set watching CRIS. We do have that 169 support level. We also have this trend line right around 169 as well. So if we open on up, come down to 169, we hit the trend line, we hit that gap level on the daily, and we start to bounce, I'm long. I'll go long to pre-market highs of 188. I'll go long to 2, and then I'll look to take some profits around 228 here on CRIS. All right, team, you got about 26 seconds left to go. Let's go ahead and do this real quick. Type up your number one ticker of the day. What's the number one stock that you guys are going to be watching today? What stock do you think has the best potential? Go ahead and just type up the ticker, and let's see what you guys are thinking. We got 15 seconds to go. Let's make it happen, and let's have an awesome day. Three, two, one. We are all set, ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make it happen. Let's get it done. Yep, so we discussed FRZA. That's on watch. Right now, CRIS is the number one out of the gate. Want to see if we hold above that 169 area. What great entry price on PSTV? I think it should be 114 this AM, right or not? PSTV was right around 113, right? So you want to see this trading above 113. That looks fantastic above 113. Looks pretty good above 113. So let it regain 113 on FRZA. Just let it regain it. All right, let it get back above, come back down, retest it. And then you have some great potential to that 129 pre-market high and then back up into the 150s. And that's going to be those post-market highs. They're on PSTV. All right, but we want to be watching CRIS here. We want to be watching CRIS right here at this point in time. See if this candle can push back above 169, hold that trend line, and start to push here a little bit, guys. Definitely want to be watching CRIS right along the lines of this trend line. See if we can get a little push back above that 170 area and start to see that that bounce. Maybe play on out. So we did crack our trend line here. So now we just want to wait to see it pull back a little bit for us. Maybe back down to that 150 area, guys. Possibly back down the 150. Let's see what happens. Let's see what CRIS can do for us. All right, so you're breaking back above your 113 on PSTV. Let it come back down and retest 113. You can make your entries with a stop below low of day. Mr. Steve, appreciate it. Yes, you are absolutely right. Forgot to get those scanners transitioned over for you, but you guys are all set now. All right, so right now, still waiting for CRIS to pull back towards around 150. Around 150. Now, in the first maybe 5-10 minutes, if we don't see CRIS really doing anything, we don't see FUBO off that mid candle, right? And we don't see FRZA doing much, then we'll see if there's anything else that's moving on up, guys. But we definitely want to keep these three on watch as these show the best opportunity right out of the gate. Starting to get that little break and retest there on PSTV. So you just broke. You came back down to your 113 for a retest. You guys were looking to make your entries at 113 on the retest. Your stops at 103. So you about 10 cents of risk. And you do have some potential to see this at 157 today on PSTV. So as long as you hold 113, you look pretty good there. Okay, no entries over on FUBO at this point in time because it's still pulling on back. If it ever breaks above 535, there's potential for the mid candle. And we're just kind of waiting to see if BBBY can get back above 2065. I want to see what the SPY and the Qs are doing. Out of the gate, just starting to roll on over here a little bit. And that's bringing Amazon down below that 140.82 team. That's bringing Apple below the trend line. Well done, Mr. Stir. All right, go. Leave. Get out of here, dude. You literally just locked in $590 in the first 5 minutes of the day. Enjoy your day, boss. Enjoy your day, man. Have fun. Enjoy it. Do what you want to go do. Go to the beach. I don't know. Do something. But good job. Way to come in and make it happen right out of the gate. Well done, sir. So right now, not too much, guys, right? Looking for CRIS to set up for us. PSTV failed the 113. That's not good. FRZA is doing nothing. FUBO is trying to push on up a little bit. BLUE is dropping on off. BBBY needs to break that 2065. We already knew BBIG had a lot of resistance there at 190. So yeah, small caps right now, not too much. And I'm just kind of sitting back to see where we can get a nice short on the SPY. All right, if we can get a little bit of a pop back on up, maybe look for a little bit of a pop and look to short that pop. We know we have resistance right around 427.26 on the SPY. And we know we have resistance up towards around 329 there on the Qs. But no solid entries yet. All right, no solid entries yet. But you do have FRZA picking on up here, guys. FRZA at this point in time, starting to pick on up here just a little bit. So let's go ahead and shift our focus to FRZA, guys. FRZA, let's shift our focus here. All right, we ever start to break 825, 844, this thing could really start to take on off. And that was the key level to see this break above between 825 and 844. So let's keep this one on high watch at this point in time, team. Good job, Stir. Good job, guys. All right, we're only 9 minutes in. If you haven't taken a trade, it's okay. Right? We're only 9 minutes into the day. There's plenty of time, guys. Sit back and wait for your opportunity. Right? CRIS is slowly coming down to 150. We want to see 150 hold on up as support. PSTV, it needs to be trading above 113 before I feel confident to be in it. If you're not above 113, like we said, you could see it all the way down at your 200 SMA, and that's at 91 cents. All right, but right now, the one that shows the best potential coming on up is going to be FRZA, especially if we can start breaking 825 and then 844. All right, and then BBBY, if we can get above 2065, that looks great. All right, I'm still just looking to see if we get a little bit of a bounce back up and where we can get a nice little trade here, maybe on the SPY and the Qs for the small account. So let's see what the Qs look like up here towards around that 329. And then let's see what the SPY does around 427.26 and see if there's any good opportunity here. I know Esther was talking about TOP. And yeah, there's some potential with TOP. Yeah, we could definitely see some movement with TOP today. So we got CRIS here at 150. Let's see if it holds on up. We want to make sure it's going to hold. So this is a slow and steady pullback, right? It's not fast, quick. It's not a washout long. It's not a dip buy. This would be more of a reversal because of how slow it is coming down to 150. So reversals, you're not looking to buy right when the candle hits 150. You're waiting to actually see it bottom, find support, and actually start to give you that reversal formation. So let's see if we start to get a reversal formation on CRIS, but I definitely don't think it's a good dip buy strategy because of how slow it came down into the 150s. So you got about maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Let's see what CRIS does down here around 150 over the next few moments. There's PSTV dropping on off. And I still want to put some focus on FRZA here. See if FRZA can get that break on out. Right? And I'm just kind of looking to make sure we're not missing anything at this point in time. We see something that really looks fantastic. I want to make sure that we're jumping on in it. But right now, we're going to wait maybe another 2-3 minutes on CRIS to see if we have that bottoming process taking place at 150 to see if there's a good reason to get involved there. PSTV is just absolutely dropping. And then FRZA showing some potential right now. So let's keep FRZA on watch. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, Stir. Good decision. Shut your broker down. You made... I don't even know what you made. What, $500? Yeah, you're done. Get out of here. So depending on what FRZA is going to do on this candle here, we may have a quick trade, a quick scalp, 825 to 844. Nice little healthy pullback, 750, right around the open, into the 20 EMA as well. If it's going to open decent here, we could start to see that push over 8 to 825. Let's see if FRZA is going to do anything. Spreads are about 15 cents, 15-cent spreads on FRZA. So you got to be mindful of that. If you jumped in with 1,000 shares, market order, you're already down $150. So you got to be mindful about those spreads, guys. All right, now it's starting to fall back down a little bit. Nothing on FRZA at this point in time. CRIS, okay. You're getting a little bit of a bounce off 150. That's a good first start for CRIS. Now let it come back down and maybe give you a little bit of a double bottom, a little bit of a higher low. Something that actually solidifies a proper reversal here on CRIS. So still be patient with CRIS. PSTV, nothing. FUBO, nothing. BLUE, nothing. BBBY, nothing. BBIG, nothing. So definitely not a lot right now, guys. Just got to sit back, be patient. You know, you're about 15 minutes in, and we don't really see any kind of super killer, super clean opportunities at this point in time. So here's what I would like to do on the SPY and the Qs, right? So let's say the Qs come back up to that downtrend and that 329 and we hit resistance and we start to look weak. We start to see more selling than buying. We ever start to crack this very short-term uptrend, I'm jumping in on puts. The SPY, same thing. We come back up towards around 427.26. We get rejected. We get stuffed. Looks weak. We ever start to come and crack this short-term uptrend, I'd be looking to take puts for the leg down. You know, Apple's getting close. We were looking at Apple over 174.85. So if Apple can break that 174.85 and hold above it, there's potential with Apple to 176.11, guys. And then over 176.11, 178.34. But I'm going to see what the SPY and the Qs do here. That's going to dictate what happens with Apple. That's going to dictate what happens with Amazon. So if we see the SPY top out at resistance and then proceed to crack the trend line, I'm absolutely looking to take some puts here. Probably go with the Qs. Probably take puts on the Qs. All right, nothing with PSTV right now. Again, we got to be very patient with CRIS, FRZA, nothing. Not too much with Fubo. Nothing with Blue. Nothing with BBBY. Nothing really with BBIG. Well, I changed that statement. BBIG, not bad, and here's why. You just came down to that 158 prior resistance, and you are bouncing off 158. So that's an important level. That was the gap down spiking high on BBIG, right around 158. So assuming we stay above the trend line and hold above 158, you have room back up to those highs of 190. We ever see a 190 break, you can see 2 and then 219. So if you want to think about a trade down here around 158, 160, it's not a bad idea because you're right at the trend line and you're right at that level of support at 158. And we know BBIG still has a lot of hype, a lot of focus, a lot of attention. And we could easily see buyers move back in up to 190, and then maybe it breaks up to that 2 and then 219. Keep BBIG on high watch here at 158, guys. Definitely keep BBIG here on high watch above 158. And I'm watching FRZA this time. FRZA. See if we can get some action here. Nope, it wants to keep on dropping. That's fine. Let it drop. Just got to sit back and wait for the best of the best of the best trade, the best of the best opportunity, guys. If you see anything else that's moving that looks good, let me know. But right now, we're looking at some of our top gainers, some of our back burners. The only thing we have is BBIG at this point in time. You got ILAG popping up on light volume. DRUG halted. DRUG halted to the upside. 148 halted because of volatility. This stock was halted at 941.14. We'll be live at 951.14 over on DRUG. We do not have any news with DRUG at this point in time. I think Drug is taking some drugs. Tripping out right now at 148. What are you doing, Drug? No short data on the stock. Very light volume play. Very light volume play, guys. I mean, the thing literally pushed up on like 150,000 shares. So, I mean, we'll watch it, but no news. Let's go check filings on DRUG and see if there's any filings here on the stock. But there's no news on DRUG. DRUG, let's check for filings. Last filing we had was 8/15. So 3 days ago, we had a 6K filing. They're on DRUG, 6K. Right, and that's an SEC reporting form under which the SEC registered FPIs provide ongoing disclosure about corporate news. Once an FPI has listed its securities in the United States, the FPI becomes subject to reporting, yada, yada, yada. So that's your 6K on DRUG. That was 2 days ago, 3 days ago on DRUG. But again, very, very, very light volume. Be careful with that. When a stock is halted up, what do you guys look for to determine if it may continue higher? Mainly news or level 2? Yeah, so when a stock's halted up, there's a few things. Was there good news? Was there a filing? Is there a strong catalyst? And what was the volume into the halt? Right? So if there's strong news, there's a strong catalyst with good volume into a halt, that's a good idea that it could continue higher. It could gap up and squeeze again. But when you see something like DRUG, all right, there's no news. There's a filing 3 days ago. Very light volume into the halt. I don't like those. As far as continuation, it's purely 50-50. There's not really an edge there. Would I trade a halt strategy on DRUG? Nope. Because there's no strong catalyst and there was no strong volume into the halts. There was only 150,000 shares before the thing got halted. That could be a typical little pump and dump. So be very careful with something like DRUG, guys. Yeah, Apple's got to go red on the day, break below its low before you want to think about a short. And the SPY and the Qs need to crack and roll on over as well. I know we cracked that trend line, and that's cool and all, but we were still kind of far away from resistance. Feel super confident to pull the trigger. I mean, I know it's only like 30 cents, but hey, 30 cents is 30 cents. So let's see if we get a little bit of a better setup on the SPY and the Qs. It's definitely a slow start to the day, guys. Definitely not tons of opportunity. Definitely not tons of action. I mean, I see FRZA maybe getting a little bit of a pop coming on up, but, you know, that's about it. Maybe FRZA gets a bit of a pop. It definitely has that higher low trying to come on in. Trying to come on in. So we'll keep FRZA on watch here and see if this thing can start to get some action towards it. Other than that, guys, not too much going on. Definitely a slower morning in the market for sure. Definitely a little bit slower. Let's wait to see what starts the heat on up. Maybe we get some BBIG action above that 158. BBBY got rejected. It's falling. You know, let's look at DRUG for now. Gap up and squeeze. They're on DRUG. If this stock's shortable, I doubt it. Nah, it's not shortable. I was going to say, I'm going to short it off the 200 SMA. I would absolutely short the stock off its 200 SMA. Definitely due for a nice little pullback at that 119 mark. Probably back down to the halt level of 150. So we'll watch DRUG. It actually gapped up and squeezed out of the halt, which I wasn't expecting. But we'll see if DRUG has some potential towards it. If it ever breaks that 200 SMA, we could continue to see it squeeze on up. And we could see this thing up towards around 260. And, geez, this thing has a lot of potential to it. You'd see it up towards around like 330 there on DRUG. So, yeah, we'll keep it on watch. It's just one of those things, guys. Very, very light volume initially into the first halt. Then we had a lot of volume move on in. DRUG, there was no short data on the stock. There's no there was a filing 3 days ago. There's no fresh news or anything like that. But now it's starting to take on off. We finally broke over that 2.5 million share mark. Again, out of the gate. I mean, it was very light volume into the halt, but then we started to see a lot of big volume move on in. So let's watch DRUG here. Now that we have some volume, it gapped up, it squeezed into a halt. A little bit of predictability here on DRUG now. And let's definitely keep it on watch to see if there's any opportunity with it. The last halt was 10 minutes. We'll probably see another 10-minute halt here on DRUG. So that'll put you right around 10:03.54. 10:03.54. I'm actually still watching FRZA, guys, for a quick little scalp and a quick little pop. You know, assuming that holds that. Yeah, so every time I'm like, maybe we can start to see a push on up, it just gets slammed back down. So nothing on FRZA just yet, but it's still something I am watching. You got DRUG that'll be live here coming on up. You got a little bit of chop here on the Qs out of the gate, a little bit of chop on the SPY. SPY and Amazon, a little bit of chop. So again, not too much really at this point in time, guys. So we'll just keep looking at these scanners. Stocks that are hitting are scanners to see if there's any good action elsewhere. WETG been halted a couple times. What's up with WETG? There is some news on here. There is news on WETG. Ready to kick off a strategic partnership with Zihan Bio through WeTrade's SaaS platform. So you got some news on WETG. This is 172 million in float, but definitely doesn't move like it's 172 million in float. So you got 1071 resistance. Then you're going to have 1330 resistance, and then you're gonna have like $15. You're actually looking at 1488 resistance. So let's watch WETG as well. Very, very light volume, but there is news here on WETG. You know, this is gonna be one of those high risk but also high reward stocks on WETG. So if we ever set up, you got to take profits quick on something like this. It moves fast. I mean, it's already down $1.50 off those highs. So definitely be patient, be smart, and you know, wait for a really killer setup. And if you get a killer setup on WETG, just put yourself in a position to lock in some quick profits. All right, guys, so we're all set. All right. Still just kind of sitting back, relax, guys. Traders in chat, how we doing so far? Ladies and gentlemen inside the chat, we already got some great profits inside the chat, guys. How we doing, though?